こんにちは、チャートマスターの根崎祐希です。1月24日、セッションリキャップ、スコットのウェブセミナーを取っていきたいと思います。よろしくお願いいたします。それでは早速始めていきましょう。
Two of them we counted on our announcement, our record. Two of them went for, about 100 pips, right? So there's money to be made. We just couldn't make it in this session, right? We can identify the wide open space. If it moves into that wide open space, we already know what we're looking for. So let's pay attention, and when you get to the currency, you say, I want to trade that. Pay attention to the numbers, all right? So we're stuck in a wedge on the euro. If we break out of the wedge, we still hit this top right here, and we hit the 3400 even number.
今これユーロドルです。ユーロドルは今ウェッジの中にあり、これをブレイクしてきて、上にブレイクしてきたら、まだここの3400っていうところを狙ってくるでしょう。
Alright, so we're going to have to be above the 3400 even number. But above the 3400 even number, there's a trade to the day chart top right there. We do have a target above here that if they really got it steaming, we could maybe get that one. But I wouldn't count on that because that's a day chart top. They're not going to break that the first time they hit it. So they're going to slam into that. There are sellers sitting right now with entry orders for sell limits on that line right now.
はい、ユーロドルなんですけども、まず3400、ここの線を抜けてきたときに、次はデイチャートのトップを狙ってくるでしょう。で、その後は下から引いた HSI のこのターゲットに行くんじゃないかと。しかしながら、いきなりこのデイチャートのトップを抜けてくることはないでしょうと。ここに今、セルの売りのエントリーオーダーがたくさん入っていて、セラー、売り手がここで待機していますと。なので、これを抜けてきてから、この上まで狙っていきましょうと。
Be aware of that. So if we get above 3400, we're going to 3484, but the sellers are going to come in because it's a day chart top.
3400、3400の後は3484を狙っていきましょうという話でしたね。
British pound. Until we get more information here, I'm leery of this one. We do have an area below here. We are in a downtrend, okay? But this is a day chart bottom right here, and they're having trouble breaking that day chart bottom.You can see the next big target would be this area right down here. So we would have a two-part trade if we can get this on.
ポンドドル、ブリティッシュパウンドですけども、今デイチャートのサポートを抜けてこれませんと。ボトムを抜けるのに大変苦労しています。これを抜けてきたらここに大きなサポートがありまして、1つ目のトレード、2つ目のトレードというように取っていきましょ
う。Right. Gonna really have to prove it though. Nice snowman down here.Really going to have to prove it because of all these attempts to make it, and they were all failed, and they all came back up 60 pips. Every time they came off it, they came up 60 pips. That's going to stop you out, folks. Just remember that. All right? Unless you put a 100 pip stop on this thing. Put a 100 pip stop and it decides that that was the bottom and goes, you're going to lose 100 pips, not 35 or 40. See?
今ここでこのボトムで、跳ね返されてきたら毎回60ピップ上がっています。跳ね返っています。もし売っていたら皆さんはストップにかかっていますよねと。unless、100ピップ以上のストップを入れていたら話は別ですけども、そうしたらこれがもし反転の場合100ピップなんて簡単に負けてしまいますよねと。なので僕たちは35ピップとか40ピップというストップでやっていますと。
So it's a very, very dicey trade at this point to make that trade.Even if you get the best looking RF1010 that ever happened, the technicals tell you got to be really, 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 really careful of this one. And it could possibly also be a head and shoulders. There's the left, right? Another move down, and then we'll have the neckline right here, and man, we could be screaming to the upside.
はい、これヘッド&ショルダーというパターンも考えられますよねと。ヘッド&ショルダーというパターンも考えられますよねと。で、ここネックラインがあって、超えていったら上に上がっていきますよねと。もちろん今ダウントレンドなんですけども、もし点々が完璧な状態で出ていてもテクニカル的にはちょっと今わからない状態ですよねと。難しい状態にありますと。
Be very, very careful of that British pound.
Be very, very careful for this British pound. このポンドドルに対してはとても注意してトレードをしてください。
That's all there is to it. The CAD, there's nothing for us to do until we get all this mess out of the way. It needs to retrace back to the downside. It's just a piece of junk right now.
ドルカナダなんですけども、とりあえず今することないですよねと。このピースオブジャンク、このいろんな線がとりあえずリトレースしてくると思いますけども、その後このいろんな線を引き直さなくちゃいけないですよねと。ドルフラン。
Swissy needs to correct. It needs to come to the downside. Well, the problem is they bought dollars today, so it couldn't go to the downside. So what did they do? They just sat here and did nothing because they know they need to go down here, and they bought dollars today. right? Which means that the Swissy should have followed it, but they need the correction first, so they didn't even bother to do it. Right? So they need to correct. Once we get down to here, maybe here, we'll look for the bounce, and maybe all the way down to here, we'll look for the bounce.
ドルフランはコレクション。ドルフランはコレクションが起きなくちゃおかしいですよねと。でも今日はドルが買われたので、このように今何にもすることなくなっていますと。なのでこれはブレイクしてきて、ここで跳ね返るか、その下で跳ね返るかしないとおかしいですね。
Right, so until that happens, nothing to do on the Swissy. Yen, we have a breakout, but remember, we know all the yen crosses are trying to tell us that we may be resetting the trend. All right. So, and we're in a place for a bounce.
ドル円なんですけども、ドル円はブレイクしてきました。で、すべての円絡みの通貨で共通しているんですけども、新しいトレンドをこう作り直している時なんではないかと思います。で、このようにバウンスポイント、跳ね返りのポイントを探して、またトレンドを引き直すという感じじゃないでしょうかと。
Right, so if that's the case and we start to move up in here, we can see our target is here and then our target is here. Right? We don't want to miss either one of these trades right here.
もしここで跳ね返されたとしたら、一つ目のターゲットはこのサポート、ここのサポート、その次がここから直近の安値から引いた HSI。これは絶対ミスしたくない、見逃したくないトレードですねと言っています。
If they do that, that will readjust the trend to something like this, right there. So let me put it on here. Let's try this. This is just a working trend in case it happens. I don't want to do that. All right.
まあそうしたらこのようなトレンドになってくるのではないでしょうかと。今一応引いておきますと、このようなトレンドになるんではないでしょうかと。
So that's a possibility right there.
This is the possibility right here. つまりこういう可能性もありますよと。
So a breakout tells us that that target is real this week. Right? If that ends up being the new trend. It didn't yet, so that's why it's not a trend line for me yet. But I got it working on it. So we'll look for those opportunities up there. All right? If it breaks to the downside, you got to watch this double bottom right here. So if it continues and breaks this and goes down 30 pips to here, and then you've got fibs that are very tight, nothing to do down in here. So
もしこれをブレイクしてくるようだと、このダブルボトムっていうところを狙ってまた下がってくるんじゃないでしょうか。で、下がってきたとしてもすることはありませんよねと。
So I'd be very leery of taking a sell, period. Right?
売るのは、私としては売るのはそんな可能性が高いことじゃない。可能性の低いことですねと。
Aussie dollar, waiting for
OG ドル。
the bounce. We've had a breakout of the bull flag, and we're waiting for the bounce. We got two good trades. If we can get this trade on, that's the first one. There's the second one up there.
OG ドルは跳ね返るのを待っています。バウンスを待っています。ブレイクしてきましたよね。ブルフラッグをブレイクしてきました。で、次はバウンスして、ここまで、そしてその次のところまで買っていけたらなという感じですねと。
Right. Definitely want to be a buyer above 106.10.
106.10 106.10 1.0610 より上で買っていきたいですねと。
For sure. And here's a little bit of risk in here, but that's it. But there is an opportunity here if you get a good sign later on. Probably in Singapore you'll see that happen. EJ.
ユーロ円。
EJ is at a bounce point. You can see we're stuck inside a wedge, but if they do bounce up here, then this downtrend is not really real. So it will no longer be a wedge at that point. It will be the bounce and the continuation move up here. Now remember, if the yens all start moving up, you can start looking for these trades on the pound yen, the euro yen, the CAD yen, the New Zealand yen. All those will have good opportunities to the upside.
ユーロ円は今このダウントレンドのラインにありますけども、跳ね返ってきているところですと。で、これ跳ね返ってきたらこのダウントレンドはすぐなくなります。ウェッジにもなりません。消えます。そうしたら次はここを目指してくるでしょうと。同じですよね。円絡みの通貨は同じことをするでしょうと。
Alright. So we're looking for that trade immediately, right there. So that would be above 118.50 because it's above 118.44. You can't make a trade into the 118.50. You have to be above 118.50, going up to 119.30. So
118.50 118円50銭を超えてきたら買いましょう。まあ本当は118円44銭なんですけども、118円50銭というこのターニングポイントっていうのがあるので、それを超えてきてから119円30銭まで買っていきましょうと。
About 80 pips up there, that next big set of cluster, that resistance cluster up here.
119円30銭というのが次のレジスタンスクラスターになりますねと。
Pound yen,
ポンド円行きましょう。
Oh man, this is just like the bridge pound, right? It's got a pound in it, so it's following itself. It did break the T30 here. This is a day chart bottom right down here, so be careful of that. All right, so you can't see the head and shoulders here, but you do see the set of twins here. This is a day chart bottom, so it comes from the past. So this is a good bounce point here. If they don't take it and they do break down the downside, however, there are two great trades down here. So the jury is out right now. It's got to negate the head and shoulders. Take it down to a 30, and you might be able to see it here. All right, so there's the head and shoulder potential. I don't know if it's a big one or either way, it's still a possibility. There's the neckline. So if you break the neckline up into here, that's where we're going.
今これ30分チャートに落としてポンド円見ています。で、これヘッド&ショルダーというポシビリティ可能性が見えています。そしたらこのネックラインを割ってきたら買いですよね。でもさっきやってました。下の方もグレートアポチュニティ、いいトレードになりますよねと言っていました。
Alright, and I will move in concert. So if you start seeing one move to the upside, then you can find the one with the biggest opportunity, which is probably the pound yen to the upside. I would not trade this to the downside until this head and shoulders was negated, and it won't really be negated. Even if they come down to the day chart here, that still could be head and shoulders here. What if they come down here to 129.39.50 all the way down here and still bounce up? See, it still could be a head and shoulders. So I'd really be careful about trading this thing to the downside.
ポンド円まだこれ跳ね返ってきてヘッド&ショルダーが確定する可能性があります。なのでこのポンド円売りの方では注意してやっていきたいですよねと言っていますね。
Even though we're in a downtrend. Alright, New Zealand dollar.
キウイドルいきましょう。
We're waiting to see if we ever get this break. If we get this break, that's a big if.
キウイドルこれもずっとブレイクしてきませんよねと。これもしブレイクしてきたらこの2つのトレードできるんですけども、big if 大きなもしかしたらですよねと。
Those are the two trades we're looking for. For sure, move your stop here because that is a day chart top right here. Day chart top. So the first trade is about 50 pips right up to there. All right, the next trade is about 40 pips. There's about 90 pips in here right now. All right, trade one, trade two.
デイチャートのトップここですよね。ここがありますけども、ここまで約50ピップ、その次40ピップと約90ピップ取れますよねと。
Got to be about 84.30, and you got to get your stop move by 84.50.
84.30、84円30銭、0.8430、これを抜けてきてから買いですよねと。そして、8450でストップを上げていきましょうと。
And hang on to 84.7880 area. Alright, that's the majors. Aussie yen.
OG 円いきましょう。
Aussie yen, we've had a breakout to the downside. Also, you can also see potential head and shoulders here. Inverse head and shoulders, the break of the neckline, and we're going up. So the key is what are we going to do with the yens? Alright? And the Bank of Japan.
OG 円、今ダウントレンドのブレイクダウン来ました。アップトレンドの方をブレイクしてダウントレンドになってきました。でもまたヘッド&ショルダー見えますよね。ネックライン割ってきたら買いですよと。
They come in and make it happen. Alright, so I'll be really looking. Every yen we've looked at is showing us signs of a head and shoulders reversal.
すべての円絡みの通貨でヘッド&ショルダーのリバーサルパターンが来ています。
So even though we are in a downtrend, we've broken out of the uptrend. This would be nothing more than resetting the uptrend. So you'd have to change it all when that happened. Alright?
もしこれがリバーサル、反転になるようだと、一回またトレンドラインをすべて引き直さなくてはいけません。
So watch for that. Euro pound.
ユーロポンド。
We're really trying to get a bounce here of some sort. And, it may be, we've got a set of twins right now, right there. Alright, so we're looking to come up here all the way up to 84.60.
84.60、8460まで、反発してくるのではないでしょうか。
Potential. We got to get this trade on today. If it happens today, this is the last day you can trade the euro pound. もしこれ
ここで跳ね返って8460まで、来るとしたら、もし跳ね返ってきたら8460までですね。で、今日が、ユーロポンドトレードできる最終日と思ってください。
Tomorrow and Friday, you can't trade it, because it moves too slow to get to the targets.
なぜなら、ターゲットまで行くのが遅すぎるからですよねと、ユーロポンドは。
But it pays $1.60 or $16 a pip. So, standard account pays $16, not $10. So, significant amount of difference. Euro Aussie.
ユーロ王子行きましょう。
All right, we've come down to the bottom of the trend line here, and let's take this up to 240 and see if we can see what we're at. As you can see, this uptrend is a much better angle. We're here, we're bouncing on here, we're bouncing on here. If we do break out, then the downtrend is in force, and we're looking to come all the way down here. Ends up being a two-part trade, one right there and one right there.
今、ユーロ王子はアップトレンドの方が綺麗ですよねと。ここで跳ね返ってるし、ここで跳ね返っている。もしこれをブレイクしてくるようだと、1つ目のパート、2つ目のパートとトレードできます。
The bounce is what we really want because of these big areas right up here.
ただこれ上に跳ね返ってほしいですよねと。大きなパートを2つ取れますからと。
We can get that bounce on and break out. All right, so let's take this down a little smaller so we can look at it and see where that might happen. As you can see, currently you're in a wedge. So since we're in a wedge, we got to wait till we get out of it. So if we break out of here, there's a trade here, and then there's a trade up to here. All right, if we break north. If we break south, break hook and go, we're looking at coming down first to the double bottom. And if we break this and the 2550, we're going to 2533.
2550、2550まで来たら2530、2530までですねと。で、これ今ウェッジの中にありますよねと。で、ブレイク上にしていったら1つ目がここ、2つ目がここという感じですね。
And there's a big trade down below here.
で、その下に大きなパートのトレードがありますよと。
So what are we going to do? When we're in a wedge, we walk away from it.
今ウェッジなので walk away from it。今これをブレイクしてくるまでは、トレードはできませんねと。
Until we get clear direction one way or the other. Euro CAD.
ユーロカナダ。
Alright, got the CAD. We know that's a fundamental announcement that caused that. It's up at the top. There's nothing for us to do while we're at the top. Professional buyers don't buy at the top. Professional buyers buy at the bottom. We've got to get it down. Until it gets down, don't even think about taking that trade. Let me do one thing here.
今ユーロカナダはてっぺんにあるので何もできないよねと。ファンダメンタル、ニュースで上がっていきましたと。で、プロフェッショナルトレーダー、彼らはここでは買えませんよねと。なので下がってきたら買っていきたいなと。
Take some of this off because that rising wedge is basically out of play now. And I want to see what happens if I put the trend on. Go back further. This would be a big trend. Let's see if we get that. It's got a good angle there. Heart line, heart line, heart line. I kind of like that, even though it's a big trend. It's a really big trend. But either way, you can tell, where are we? We're at the top. See? So, structure of the market tells us we got to come down. Right? So we've had a 1, 2, 3. We need a 4 and then a 5.
今トレンドを引き直してみました。大きなトレンドですよねと。そして、どっちにしろてっぺんにあるのでできません。で、1、2、3、4が来て5が来ないとおかしいですねと。
See that? So, what's in store? 4 to the downside. So, we're at the top of the trend. They got every reason to take it down now. Maybe it'll bounce down here at the 50% fib. Maybe it'll go all the way to the trend line. It went to the trend line before, twice. So, we don't want to touch this one until we get that retracement out of the way. Okay, does that make sense to everybody?
これリトレースメントするまでは、we don't wanna touch this って言ってますから、触りたくないですよね。このトレード取りたくないです。で、トレンドラインには2回こう来てますから来るかもしれない。もしかしたら、フィブの 50% まで来るかもしれない。とにかくリトレースメントしてからトレードしたいねと。
You gotta look at the structure of the market. You have to. Alright, good. CAD yen.
カナダ円行きましょう。
And even if it keeps going up, we can't trade it. We cannot trade it just because it's moving. All right, it's not in a place where we can trade it. CAD yen has, trying to make this break here. We have had a break and a hook, as you can see. If you take it down to a 3-minute chart, you'll see that break. There's the break and a hook back up. So maybe it'll take off now. I'm just leery of it. It's got a yen in it, and remember, all the yens are telling us they're going to reverse. All right, not I mean they're gonna, but they're telling us they're gonna try. So, this is obviously a good place to do it. I don't know. Theory of that sell at this point in time. Now, it may happen later. It may happen, and they may want to take it to the double bottom before they're done and take it back up. That's a real possibility. So the opportunity is this one right here, watching this double bottom right here.
カナダ円はこのダブルボトムが来そうですよねと。で、まあそのまま反転していくんじゃないかなと。
If it gets underway, then we should take it. All right, but be very leery of it because everything in the yens are telling us we're trying to go north. Here's another yen, New Zealand yen.
キウイ円行きましょう。
All right, and we can see it's bounced already off the bottom. It's stuck inside a wedge, so we know we're inside a wedge. We don't do anything till we get either that trade or that trade. Nothing else. All right. If we get that trade, we're going to the double top. We do not want to miss that trade.
キウイ円は今すでに反発してきていますよねと。で、上のトレンドラインとこの下のトレンドラインの間でウェッジになっています。ウェッジの時はしたくない。トレードしたくない。上に抜けるか下に抜けるかを待つ。今反発してきてますよねと。もしこれ抜けてきたらここのトレード、トップまで、見逃したくない。絶対に見逃したくないトレードですねと。
120 pips up there. All right.
120ピップあります。
There are no PSRs down here because we're up in the stratosphere. All right. You can also see that we've got a head and shoulders right here. This is the neckline. So
ヘッド&ショルダーも見えていて、これがネックラインなので、まあ、割ってきたらすごく下がるよねと。
break down here, I'd certainly be looking for the 786 fib right down here, where the set of twins are.
はい、セットオフトゥインと786のフィブがある、ここ、まあ、セットオフトゥインっていうツインキャンドルっていうのはこの同じようなキャンドルですよね。同じようなっていうとこの長さのなんて反転のパターンのキャンドルありますよね。トゥインキャンドルっていうんですけど、それと786の重なっているところまで、もしこのヘッダーのショルダーが出たら行くんじゃないかなと。
I'm looking for that. I don't have anything on here because I'm not sure what it's going to do yet. I got a set of fibs and I got a trend line, and that's all I got at this point in time. All right, so I'm waiting to see what they do. All right, it's been a huge move since the bottom. Huge. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to here, and then we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, this would make sense. All right, so we have another 5 waves to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, that makes total sense to me. All right, structure of the market says we should break to the upside. I'll be interested in that trade if it happens. All right. Pound New Zealand.
ポンドニュージーランド。
All right, for those of you who can trade it, got a big target down here. Really big target here. We're testing this bottom, but they can't break it right now. Let's see what we got here for waves. We got a 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th wave. So we should have an A, B, C retracement right now. So this is a bounce point. It could break to the downside, and it would be an elongated 5th wave if that happened. But they really need to do an A, B, C retracement here. You can already see there's a mess going to the upside. A big mess going upside. No real space at all in here. There's one little space right here that's got some room. I wouldn't trade it to the upside at all. Not yet.
まあ今12345の後の123の ABC 調整は来るんじゃないかなと言ってるんですけどもまあサポートがたくさんあるし、このもうメスですよねと。なので、まあ、上にはトレードしたくない。まだしたくないという感じですね。
Silver.
銀行きましょう、銀。
Yeah, there's our sell-off. Victor, you got your stop move, right? I don't know if he's here anymore. Okay. Okay, good. Alright, we took out the 618 fib, then they started buying dollars today, which means they'll sell silver and gold. And sure enough, that's what they did, okay? But they didn't sell it. All they did was bring it down to the double bottom again. So now we're in a place to take it again. We've already been here, so that's going to be a no-brainer trade up to there. Then if we get the break, we're going to take it up over there.
まあ簡単な話ですよねと。ダブルボトムをつけたところにまた戻ってきていて、また跳ね返りポイントですよねと。ここまで跳ね返る。で、その後また上まで行くよと。
We're headed up to 33.
33まで行くと。
So we'll see if we get it. Alright, and finally, pound chief.
ポンドフラン。
Pound chief, take it to a 240 chart, and we'll see what we got. Big box, got a pound in it. Typically trading the box right here. Alright, so we went up to the top, came down to the bottom. Went up to the top, came down to the bottom. What's the structure of the box tell us? Which way should we go? Up to the top.
今このようなボックスに入っています。上に行ったら下に行き、下に行ったら上に行き、上に行ったら下に行き。じゃあ今どうするの？買う方ですよね。上に行く方ですよねと。
See that? We have a downtrend. We've got to be clear on the downtrend, and then we'll trade it up to the top. All right? So look for the structure, let it happen, wait for the trade to come to you. There's the first test of trying to take it out. They did not find enough buyers, so they've come back down in.
まず最初のテストがありました。このダウントレンドをブレイクするか。でも not enough buyer to come in、つまり、not enough、つまり買い手が足らなかった。なのでもう一回下がってきましたねと。
Right? If they bounce and take it out, target number 1 is here, target number 2 is here, target number 3 is here, but we'll have to redo all the lines once that happens, because these are all to the down.
これをもしブレイクしてきて、今、ブレイクしてきましたけども、今フックしてますよねと。で、また跳ね返ったら1つ目のターゲット、ここ。2つ目のターゲット、ここ。で、3つ目のターゲット、これもう一回やり直さなくちゃいけないですね。
But that is an R3 and R2 right here from the up move off the bottom. So that definitely is in the cards right there.
ここがターゲットですよねと。R3 があるところですと。
Alright, folks, that's what I see. I'll see all of you tomorrow morning. Be careful. It's a wacky week so far. Hard to find any good trades. Hopefully everybody learned some good stuff today, and we'll look to be here again tomorrow. Alright, everybody, have a great day. You bet. See you later.
はい、というわけで終わりました。ここまでこの週はキャーキーウィーク、つまりあんまり分かりやすくない週ですよねと。なので気をつけてくださいというようなことを言っていました。また今日、チャートマスターの方ではウェブセミナー夜、17時と22時にやりますので、またそちらの方も、ご覧いただけたらなと思います。今日は僕の方では HSI と点々使いながら実際のトレードをしていきたいと思いますので、ぜひ見ていただけたらなと思います。22時からはササッチ、副社長の笹田の方で、もうちょっと長いスイングトレードとか、短期トレードもやりますが、実践トレードをしていきますので、ご覧ください。それではありがとうございました。失礼します。